addendum. After I made the last video about simplifying this code, I figured out a little better. If you recall, there was a place I tried to use the command and it didn't work. And I since figured out how to use it, and it would actually make some of the refactoring I did much easier. So I'm just going to give a quick demonstration of that. As you recall, at one point, or perhaps recall, I replaced all these x's with a variable named marker, and I replaced all these o's with the same variable, and then I replaced the colors. And I ended up doing it with find and replace. I since discovered, even easier, select a thing like that x, and it highlights all of them, then right click and choose that command I tried, change all occurrences, or you can hit command F2, and you'll see what it does there is it actually makes like a cursor after all of the selections. And so now if I delete the selection and type something else, it replaces it all with the same thing. And then I can very quickly do the same thing over here. And this time I'll use the command F2 to get the cursor, delete, marker. I can come up here and do the same thing with the color. And I want that to be the variable named color. And as soon as you click somewhere else, it sort of cancels that multi-cursor color. And probably if I was doing this like I did before, I would do the same thing, and I would quickly make my variables before I forget what those values were supposed to be. Marker, let color, and then inside the if, say marker equals x. And I want to do this after, otherwise it would like include this x in the thing that was replacing all of them, which would be a bit of a drag. And red, else marker equals O, and color equals blue. Okay, so now that I've got that sorted, I can delete the second branch and reformat, and one extra brace. Now all the red squiggles are gone. And I can also use that for things like some of these things were written differently, like width times 1. Well, anything times 1 is redundant. So I'm going to do the same sort of multi-edit, and just this time I arrowed to the right to undo the selection, and now I'm just going to delete the times 1. And are there other places we did that with height? Yeah, there's a height times 1. So anywhere that occurs, I want to replace it with just height. And that just sort of very quickly lets me edit the code to regularize it. Also, I could notice this whole thing is duplicated. I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it. I just hit Command C. Then I'm going to multi-edit it. And I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to replace it with font size. Oh, and I selected too much, but no worries. I can still type the paren that I accidentally deleted. Then finish that, and then I can come up here and say const font size equals, and then paste the thing I copied before. So I've gotten rid of a little more duplicated code. So that's just a really nice feature of this editor. Oops, I broke something somewhere. What is this squiggle about? Oh, that extra paren. That was the extra paren right, that was part of the if before. Or sorry, part of the function call. Anyway, right. Now the red squiggle is gone. Okay, so that is a very nice feature of this editor, which I don't know if I've ever pointed out. This editor in this environment is actually using a library called Monaco, which is actually the same code base as an editor called Visual Studio Code, which is a real editor that lots of professional programmers use. It's also the editor that's used in GitHub code spaces, which we'll use later in the year. So I chose all of this. So the stuff you learn here will carry over to other environments that we'll use, and potentially other environments you'll use if you ever become a professional programmer. So, and the reason people use it is because it has these nice features. So that's all I really wanted to show. Just would have been a little bit quicker way to do the thing I did before. If you're curious about any of the stuff in this editor, you can look at this command palette and find all kinds of interesting commands. It's a little unfortunate they don't give better documentation of what they do, but they do. You can go by the name and sort of see what it does and try them out. All right, so that was just a quick a quick hit to show you something that I learned after I made the last video. Hope that was useful to you.